I'll be solving the USACO 2021 December contest bronze division problem 2 air conditioning. So you can go ahead and pause the video to take a look at the problem. And I'll go ahead and explain now. So this is the sample input. We have a number n on the very top, which is 5 in this case, and that is the number of values that we have in each row. And in the first row, we have the preferred temperature. So this is our goal. And on the second line, we have the current temperature. So in order to find the minimum number of commands, we first want to find the difference. So we can find the difference 0, 5 minus 2, 3, 1, 1, 3. So we want to store this in an array. And we want to find the difference between each of these values. And we also want to find the difference of 0 and 3. So the first and last values of the array. So we're going to add 0 just to get that number in the front and the end. So we can find the difference. And this is the absolute value because it's just change. So it'll be 2, 1 minus 1, 0, 3 minus 1, 2, 3 minus 0 is 3. So we can add all these values up. And you can see that it equals 10. And if you divide by 2, then you'll get 5, which is the minimum number. So we can use this formula and write our code. Okay, so we want to create an integer for n, and then also one for the answer. And then we want to have an integer array that stores the values. We'll call it A. So to initialize, n is going to be the first line of input. And then we can just make answer equals 0. And we can initialize our array. And it's going to have n length. So first we'll read a line in the string tokenizer. And we'll run a for loop. And we want to make all the values in array equal to the first line that has the preferred temperatures. And then we want to bring in the next line. So I'll just copy and paste. And we'll run another for loop. And since we want to find the difference between these two, I'll take the value that's already in there, which is the preferred, and then subtract it by the current value. And so we can test this out to make sure that our A is printing correctly. Run this. And this was the same as the differences that we found earlier. So we know it's correct, and then we can move on to solve the problem. So in the beginning, we want to set the answer to the absolute value of the smallest number, because that is the difference. Instead of adding 0 in the beginning, that will just automatically find the difference, because 0 minus 0 is 0. If this was 1 instead of 0, having 1 minus 0 is 1, which is the same as just having 1 in the first value of the array. So I'll set answer to the absolute value of the first value in the array. And then I'll run a for loop. And I'll run it to a.length, which is n minus 1, because we want to solve this 2 at a time, 2 numbers at a time. So we don't want it to have a run error. So for each of these, we'll just add to the total sum the absolute value of the differences between the first value in the array to the second one, or the one on the right. And then at the very end, we want to find the difference of the last one as well. So we'll add the difference of the last one, which should be just the value of the last number in the array. And if we do this, if we print this out right now, the answer should equal 10. So all we need to do is divide the answer by 10. And then if we print it out, we can see if we get 5. So we get 5. And submit on the website. And you can see that all the answers were correct.